I think I'm going to begin tonight, so I'll give the first presentation, and then my husband will give the second presentation. So I'm going to move the camera over here so that I can be in the second center stage. And then anyways, I'd like to talk to you tonight about our true mother. I think that, this is of course, a very important topic. That's why it's one of the topics chosen for this important leadership training. And, but for me, it's something that's, of course, very personal, being a woman, and to see the transition in our movement in the last, let's say, 10 years or so. Of course, we see that Women's Federation was started in 1992, and that was the beginning of the women's era. But honestly, not much changed in our movement at that time. I believe maybe something cosmically changed, but things didn't really change until Mother took the reins of our movement. So today I want to share with you a very important presentation that was given a while ago. Actually, I don't know when it was given, to be honest with you. But it was given by Dr. Andrew Wilson to the Angelucci leaders meeting. And this was very important. It's the theological significance of true mother. Now, I'm not giving you the whole lecture, but I do feel as though it's very important as leaders that we understand what our mother's qualification is to be in the position that she's in. So, in order to understand the significance of true mother and her mission, we need to understand the mission of the Messiah. So, a lot of times people think that Father's the Messiah. We always went around, Reverend Sun Myung Moon is the Messiah. Well, I wonder, in your mind and heart, what do you think? Do you think Father's the Messiah? If you do, then you have a very Christian concept of what is the Messiah. But if you understand divine principle and you understand the unificationist concept of Messiah, you realize that the Messiah is a man and a woman. We cannot say that the Messiah is only a man. So we need to really look at what is the significant, what is the mission of the Messiah? What is it the Messiah should accomplish? Well, first of all, the Messiah needed to finish finish the work that Jesus started. This is very important. And I'm going to go through each one of these and to show you how important Mother's involvement was in each one of these points. The second is to complete restoration through indemnity and subjugate Satan. Now, subjugate Satan is a very interesting term. Actually, what subjugate Satan means is to win Satan's heart, to win over the enemy, to become united with the Satan that we're talking about. And the third mission of the Messiah is to save all of humankind, to bring humankind back to their original position, to allow us to live in the kingdom of God again, to live in the Garden of Eden, or shall we say, live in Angelucci. And the mission of the Messiah is to build the foundation for that kingdom, for the kingdom of God or Angelucci. And fifthly, when all of this is done, when the Messiah has accomplished all of this, then God should be liberated. So I want to show you that true mother is absolutely essential to all five purposes. So we can understand what she's been working on and what she's been doing. First of all, the first mission of the Messiah is to complete Jesus's unfinished work. Of course, that is to have the marriage supper of the Lamb. Well, Father had 14 years course of preparation for that, and Mother had 3 generations of preparation in order to get them to the point where they could fulfill the marriage supper of the Lamb. And then after that, true mother needed to be established. Jesus also could not establish a wife or a mother. So mother went through the 7-year course to her perfection, which happened at God's Day in 1968. Perfection as the true mother. This is something else Jesus wasn't able to accomplish. And of course, recover the bride, religion, and nation, which is written many, many times in the Bible. And mother did that through Women's Federation for World Peace in 1992. So that was a very good question that Peter asked during the icebreakers. So these were the things that Jesus needed to accomplish but couldn't, and ones that were absolutely accomplished with the help of true mother only. So the second thing was to subjugate Satan. So true father carried the cross of restoration through indemnity. So he was to recover the lost Judeo-Christian foundation. But the final indemnity condition had to be made by true mother. This is very important to understand. Father accomplished so much. He went through so many years of sacrifice and dedication and really investing himself. But in order to really subjugate Satan, Eve had to do that because Eve was the one that was controlled by Satan. So then Eve has to get into the position where she can dominate Satan or win Satan's heart and go into the right position again. So Adam cannot subjugate Satan by himself because Eve was the weak point where Satan invaded. So how important this is as the last point of restoration is that Eve's position is regained and dominates Satan or dominates the spiritual world, dominates the evil spiritual world. So mother needed to do this by herself because Eve was by herself and Eve was the one that gave in to Satan. Eve was the one that listened to Satan. Eve was the one that made the first mistake. So as the final condition of restoration, it needs to be Eve or our true mother to restore that point. So in subjugating Satan, mother went through many, many things. First of all, she was able to perfect herself as the true mother, and that's when God's day was fulfilled. So these are Father's words. It says, since a man got the victory, a woman also had to gain the victory. Mother confronted the society and nation that opposed her and overcame everything during the 7-year period. Well, we know that after mother became the bride of the Messiah, or the true wife, she went through 7 years of incredible indemnity, where many people were opposing her, people in the movement. She sacrificed greatly during those first 7 years. She gave birth to 7 children. Also, she had many miscarriages, and she was opposed. There were many people that were against her, especially, first of all, because she had a girl. This is not what she should have done. And of course, she had some support, but most of, especially the women in the movement, were against her, watching her, checking her, seeing everything she did. But after 7 years, she was able to win their hearts, and she was able to win their trust. So these are Father's words. When, for the first time in history, God and man could believe in a woman 100%, God's day could be established. This is an incredible statement. God's day could be established when the position of woman was regained by our true mother. That was January 1st, 1968. Mother and I could obtain God's seal as a true perfected family, and we could take our position on the earth. That's the significance of God's day, 1968. That was many, many years ago. How much mother went through during those first 7 years. She had to really obey completely and willingly obey in faith our true Father. During that time, I'm sure you heard that she wasn't able to sleep together with Father in the same room. At some point, she was asked to go to another building, and she stayed with her mother. She wasn't even allowed to come into the same, bedroom with father. And, she could keep that position, not because father explained everything, because she knew herself what needed to be done. And she mentioned this. She said from the first day when she was blessed with father, she understood her position. True mother knew because God, Daimonim, and her grandmother had raised her to be that way. Not that they told her everything that she needed to do, but she was raised to be obedient in faith, to keep her position, and to have that character of a restored Eve. So mother had her own portion of responsibility to unite with God and Father, and she did that 100%. I mean, I can't imagine how difficult that must have been for a young girl her age that married a man that was so much older than her that she didn't know. Of course, she had faith that he had the position of the Lord of the Second Advent, but how much she must have struggled in her heart. So lonely, so miserable. But through this, through her willingness to be obedient in faith, she could gain this position. So just as God did not explain everything to Eve in the garden, Father didn't explain anything to Mother, but Mother understood because of her pure heart, because of her foundation of 3 years of preparation, and because of the way she was raised by her mother and her grandmother. So True Father gave True Mother an award for her cosmic level victory. Mother established the condition through the 80 city speaking tour to make even Satan surrender to God, true parents, and humankind. So this is 1999. Father said, therefore, we are holding a ceremony honoring this victory. It is a ceremony for proclaiming and celebrating true parents' cosmic victory. So Mother went on this 80 city speaking tour, which was an incredible indemnity condition, going out, testifying to our true Father, speaking to the truth to all the nations of the world. And after that, she was given this very incredible award for her cosmic level victory. This, on a whole new level, a cosmic level, she was able to subjugate Satan. So the third point in the Messiah's mission is salvation. Well, what is salvation? Salvation, we know, is receiving the blessing or the change of lineage. Blessing to us is like baptism, where we are able to get rid of our original sin, or in second gen case, you're able to establish the second blessing, and you have permission to make your own lineage or to continue the lineage of God. So we receive rebirth through perfected parents. We cannot receive rebirth through fallen parents. So True Mother is absolutely required, of course, if parents are father and mother. So father alone, of course, cannot give rebirth. So salvation based on True Father alone is only spiritual, just like in Jesus's level. So to deny mother is to deny the very basis of salvation. So if we talk about rebirth, we have to admit that rebirth has to come through perfected parents, a perfected man and a perfected woman. We cannot have a change of lineage without that. And true parents need to have complete resemblance to God. So there has to be complete resemblance between Heavenly Parent and our true parents. They have to be the same. Now, if we are going to engraft ourselves into God's lineage, then true parents on the earth must be one with Heavenly Parent. So through that, then we can change our lineage to God's lineage. This is absolutely important. So true parents have to resemble God. So isn't God male and female? Heavenly Parent is both father and mother. So there must be a father and mother on earth. There must be duality. And of course, true parents have the attributes of being absolute unique, unchanging, and eternal. They have absolute faith, love, and obedience, and authority over heaven and earth. So these are the attributes of God, and true parents have these same attributes because they have to resemble God in order to be able to give us rebirth or change our lineage. So, how can true parents be the progenitors of God's lineage? Well, first of all, they have to resemble God, but also they must become one themselves. God and true parents must become one. There has to be a vertical true parents and a horizontal true parents. So, our true parents must also be the parent of the cosmos, the parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. So, they have to completely resemble true heavenly parents. So it's not just father, but also mother. Mother is in that exact same position, male and female. God created them. So to be in this position, to be able to give salvation or to change our lineage, there must be mother and father who both completely resemble God, who have become one and therefore reflect God on the earth. And also, they have to be, God's only begotten son and daughter. So, true parents are the unique starting point of God's lineage. They're the first ones, male and female, united with God, the beginning of the new lineage, the root of the new unfallen humanity. So, they have to stand as God's first son and first daughter. You understand? It has to be the only begotten daughter for a while, the only daughter and the only son that came from God. This is begotten means to come from God. So they must experience that reality from birth, childhood, while they were engaged, marriage, and parenthood as God's only begotten son and daughter, the only one on earth that has that unique and precious relationship. Everyone was so surprised when mother said, she was God's only begotten daughter. Well, why were they so surprised? Father had said that many times before. But having mother stand there as a woman and say she was God's only begotten daughter was a shock, because we had not thought of mother as being equal to father. We had not thought of mother in all those years as standing in the same position as father. So mother had many experiences. There are many things we learned from her life. Damon was told in a dream, this child is the Lord's daughter, or God's daughter, and you are her nursemaid. And Satan attacked Damon trying to kill mother, trying to destroy mother, get her off the face of the earth. Hohobin's mother blessed true mother at the age of 6 and said, you are heaven's bride. All these things happened as mother was growing up. But we didn't really understand what this meant when we studied mother's life. And Damon raised her with awareness of her special tradition. And even after 1 month after mother's birth, her mother, Damon, had a dream. And Kim Songdo of the New Jesus Church appeared to her in white clothes on a white cloud and said, Sune, you must have worried a lot about your baby, but don't you worry. She is the daughter of the Lord, and you are like her nursemaid. Make sure to nurse her and raise her well. And she did. She kept mother pure. She kept her, cherished her. She educated her to be obedient and to be able to keep her faith. So when the day came, when she met Father, Father could recognize her. So the fourth point that the Messiah has to accomplish is make the foundation for God's kingdom. So true father and true mother each represent half of humankind. So father is victorious in restoring man's dominion, but mother is striving to restore woman's dignity. Now, this is what mother is faced with right now in her life. So mother representing womankind, she has to carry a very heavy cross. She has to restore Eve's sin. So this is something that has never been approached before. There have been many men in history that have been victorious Abels, that have established the foundation of faith. But there has never been a woman that has been able to go beyond the position of wife. There's never been a woman that has been victorious enough to go beyond that position and to become the true mother. So mother was the first one with no foundation to stand on, only the foundation of her own ancestors. So mother also had to face the terrible denigration by men in our society today. So, there are cultures that say that women should only be in the home. They relegate women to the domestic sphere. And this is what people thought about mother, that mother has value as long as she's serving father or as long as she's taking care of the children. Religions still privilege men as closer to God. Many churches, many religions think that only, men can be in the spiritual leader position, or only men can pray to God. And the scriptures are written by men from a male point of view. These are all things that mother needs to face. Even divine principle, written many years ago, never mentioned about the position of mother. And it was never written, about, of course, it didn't mention the father was the Messiah either, but it talked about the victories of the men and the position of the Lord of the Second Advent. But the foundation had not been made in order to talk about the wife of the Messiah or the mother of all humankind. Also, language is subtly male-centric. These are all the things that we see in our culture that mother needs to face and change. This needs to be changed. This needs to really be reviewed and considered. And the other big problem for women is that women lack relationship to God's feminine side. Many women in our society don't understand that God is male and female and therefore relate to a male God. For many, many years, I struggled myself. I thought, what is my role model? Father? Should I be like father? And as I tried to be like father, I was told, don't be so strong. You're too dominant. You're too subjective. So where's my role model? I didn't have the concept that there was that I knew God was male and female, but it was very hard for me to relate to that female aspect of God because I didn't see that model. So mother also faced this cross for womankind. She had to completely understand this and find that mother God. So true mother made the condition herself, and she restored the dignity of Eve. So through the rally for the advancement of the globalization of the true family in 80 cities around the world, true mother won the supreme victory over the highest level of Satan's world. She attained this position based upon recognition by God, Satan, and all people that she had fulfilled her responsibility as the true mother. She can occupy the precious position of Eve, whose mistake in front of Adam has been restored. So this was declared by our true Father. Mother had fulfilled that position and she accomplished this. So how much mother had suffered. So we have to let mother be mother. She's not a cookie cutter duplicate of father. A lot of times people are saying, or some people think, maybe they don't say, well, mother doesn't act like father. Father was so charismatic. Father was so dynamic. Father gave us goals, So our expectation of the Messiah should not be based only on a male model, because the female aspect of God is part of the messianic role. So mother's character and leadership style may be different, and we know it's very, very different. So let's look at the difference between the masculine and feminine. You know, God designed the masculine and feminine to be complementary. So we have the male has a will, he's determined to push forward. But the woman is more inclined to create harmony and more inclined to focus on relationships and the feelings between people and restoration of relationships. So while the men are pushing forward, the women are making sure that everybody is harmonious and working well together. Men tend to be problem solving, and goal oriented. There's a goal, let's figure out how to fulfill the goal. While a woman will be focusing on sharing and discussing, how can we solve this problem? What can we do? And has a great sensitivity to the environment. Look at mother, she's creating a beautiful place in Champyeong for us to feel the love of God and to see the beauty of creation, to understand God's love. So men tend to be very enthusiastic and they're proud of their accomplishments. There's a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of passion, a lot of vision, and really trying to accomplish something. Whereas women tend to be more compassionate, worried about how are you doing? We hope you, mother's always saying to us, I hope you're happy, are you enjoying yourselves? Did you like the program? And nurturing and trying to raise up the children. So you can see this is quite different, but both are absolutely necessary. So male leadership is goal orientated and feminine leadership is team orientated. Mother wants to see us to work as teams, to cooperate together. You want the different regions to support each other, to help each other. Male leadership are very charismatic and enthusiastic, where we see mother, she says very little. I remember when she first started leading us, she would come to the Chanukuk leaders meeting and speak for 10 minutes. I mean, this was unheard of before with father. Father would speak 10 hours, 15 hours. He's spoken 23 hours at a time, but mother would speak very little and then look to others to respond. This is a very feminine way to lead. So a male would give directions and expect obedience, where a female would promote discussion. What do you think? She wants to hear from us. She wants to understand our situation. And this is why Dr. Balcom's always asking us, please write to True Mother. Please tell her what you're experiencing, what's going on. Share the stories of the other members. So also, male leadership encourages achievement and competition, but female leadership nurtures growth in the second generation especially. She's trying her best to raise up the second gen, the young leadership, to really take responsibility. And whereas the male will rush forward, the female will try to consolidate and live very frugally. So let's let mother be mother. Mother began as the wife of True Father, and this was very important, an object partner to True Father. She didn't speak, she obeyed Father. She was there beside him every second to support him and help him. That was as a wife, in the wife's position, but mother's position is much different. So now our True Mother,
five more minutes.
Thank you. So mother is standing our True Mother is standing in mother's position to all of us. So we are mother's children. The male leadership sometimes think they're mother's husband and they have a right to judge her or to criticize her. But no, they are mother's sons and daughters and they need to obey her, attend her, take care of her. So in the mother-child relationship, mother is a subject partner. and she's co-authoritative subject partner together. Male and female, both mother and father, are the ones in charge of the children, and the children need to obey and attend and follow the mother. So mother's final responsibility was to liberate God. So as a co-creator with God, Father left this Father left this point for true mother. This is the important point. Is that true father was aware of this issue. He's told us in the Wali Wambong. And peace among the children requires mother's active involvement, So mother liberated God to be our heavenly parent. Why did Father leave this portion of the principle to be proclaimed by mother? For the dignity of Eve and womankind. Father left this part of restoration for mother so that she could stand as the true mother of all humankind. So mother's position to know Heavenly Mother as she is her embodiment on earth. So now we have this incredible responsibility or opportunity to really be able to know the true mother of all mankind. So also mother liberated God by officiating at Foundation Day. With absolute faith, despite Father's passing, true mother stood as true parents on earth to proclaim Foundation Day. I don't know if you were there, if you saw this, but mother stood there with all her power and all her love and all her might alone to proclaim Foundation Day. It was a very devastating moment for her, but she had complete faith in true Father, and she understood that she had to do this. So mother liberated God by officiating at Foundation Day. And after Foundation Day, the most important part of the providence is the liberation and elevation of women. So this is really what we have to work on, because this is the real problem in our society today. So mother's providential role is crucial for this time. We need to support her. We need to proclaim our true mother as the model for the world, the mother of peace, the mother of unification. We have to proclaim her to all the leaders of the world and use her as our model, especially as women, so that we can understand the importance of the women's role. So we also have to defend her against all those who, in cutting her down, are standing against providence. So now is providentially important that mother takes this position and that more women take this position. We need to really take responsibility to help restore Eve on a much broader and horizontal level. So let's unite with true mother, and heaven will stand by our side. This is what mother told us in her last speech. We need to really understand how important this is, to really understand true mother, understand the significance of her position, to understand her heart and all that she went through in order to get to this point, to liberate the Mother God and to liberate all women of the world. So thank you very much, brothers and sisters.
I crossed the Pacific and stepped onto American soil. Speaking in the 8 largest cities of the U.S., I announced that the era of women was near and what it means for men, women, and God. I planted in their hearts the seeds of female leadership that is necessary to complete the salvation of the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the dawn of the completed testament age, the time has come for each family to take up the messianic mission of completing the work of salvation all over the world. After restoring your family, the next step is to restore your tribe, nation, and world. We call this process tribal messiahship. In the completed testament age, the mother's role will be crucial. She must unite her children and her husband and link her family with the true parents. Already, we have sent thousands of tribal Messiah missionaries around the world. Soon, the original ideal of the family will be achieved worldwide. As the world enters the completed testament era. We will live with God again.
That 1992 global speaking tour was by no means a vacation. It covered 113 cities, 24 time zones, venue upon venue, check-in upon check-in, crowd upon crowd, schedule upon schedule, pressure upon pressure. I was speaking on the value and mission of women, the way to peace in the family and world, and the love of Heavenly Parent. This was to open the gates for the world's people who are stranded as lonely orphans, to welcome them into the loving, liberating embrace of true parents. Only when we receive God's blessing in marriage can we leave the orphanage and receive our inheritance as the sons and daughters of God who enjoy true happiness. Standing before True Father's holy body in 2012, I promised, in tears, by the end of my days, I will absolutely bring about the settlement of Angelucci on this earth. Whenever the opportunity arises, I repeat these words. After True Father's ascension, I set forth like a female Don Quixote, spreading our teachings and embracing the world. I have lived every day with my promise to Father Moon in mind.
경외하옵는 하늘 부모님, 만왕의 왕이신 천지인
The King
참 부모님,
of King, the true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, the King of peace,
성은이 만극하나이다. 하늘 부모님께 고하노니
I pray to the heavenly parents
국호를 천일국으로 정하였으며
that he has to set
북한은
God's nation as a
장미와
Chanuguk
백합으로, 국조는 학으로
and the symbol as the crane
국기를
and the Chanuguk flag and the Chanuguk nation.
하늘 앞에 봉정.
I offer them to the heavenly parents.
오늘
Today,
2013년
on 2013, January 13, by the heavenly calendar,
천일국 원년을
and
선포합니다.
I proclaim the first year of Chanuguk.
역사적인 천일국이 천상천하에 선포되었습니다.
The historic proclamation of Chanulguk has been made to all of heaven and earth.
천일국을 선포해 주신 하늘 부모님과 천진 참부모님께 뜨거운 감사의 박수를 올려주시기 바랍니다.
Brothers and sisters, let us applaud to show.
저희들은 생이 다하는 날까지 이 땅에 천일국을 정착시키겠습니다.
사랑하는 아버님, 그리운 아버님, 언제나 함께 하시는 아버님, 아버님께서 천상에 입성하신 지 벌써 7년의 세월이 흘렀습니다. 이 천주에 당신께서 흘리신 땀과 눈물이 배어있지 않은 것이 없습니다. 오늘따라 아버님이 더욱 그립습니다. 아버님께서는 성화하시기 1년 전 90세를 훌쩍 넘긴 연세에도 8차례 넘게 미국을 왕래하셨죠. 건강은 전혀 돌보지 않으시고 오직 세계와 인류를 위해 일하셨습니다. 엄마, 이 일을 끝내고 한가해지면 그때 우리 조금 쉽시다 라고 하시던 말씀은 끝내 지상에서는 이루어지지 않았습니다. 밤낮을 쉬지 않고 일하신 당신, 저 또한 그런 아버님을 모시고 생활하며 일평생 3시간 이상을 자본 적이 없었네요. 2012년 뜨거운 여름 마지막 병원에 입원하실 때도 아버님께서는 아직 할 일이 많은데 병원에서 시간만 보내면 어떡하노 하시며 오히려 입원을 권유한 사람들을 나무라셨지요. 아직 할 일이 많이 남으셨기 때문이었습니다. 그리고 서둘러 천정궁으로 돌아오셔서는 엄마, 오늘은 엄마하고 겸상을 하고 싶네 라고 하셨죠. 그때 주변 식구들은 참으로 의아해했습니다. 항상 저와 함께 앉아 식사를 하셨었거든요. 그날 점심상을 받으신 아버님께서는 수저를 들 생각은 하지도 않으시고 제 얼굴만 많이 바라보셨습니다. 아마도 아버님께서는 마음속에 제 얼굴을 새기시는 것 같았습니다. 저는 미소를 지으며 아버님 손에 수저를 쥐어드리고 반찬을 올려드리고는 드시는 모습을 하염없이 바라보았습니다. 저도 아버님의 얼굴을 가슴에 새기고 싶었습니다. 날이도 볕이 강했던 날, 아버님께서는 한 키가 넘는 산소통을 대동하고 따가운 햇볕을 받으며 청평호수와 청심중고등학교를 시작으로 청평단지를 두루 둘러보셨죠. 그리고 천정궁으로 돌아오시어 하늘이여 축복하소서, 끝을 맺게 허락해 주시기를 부탁드립니다 라는 기도 후 녹음기를 가져오라 하시고 복귀 섭리의 사명을 다 이루었다라는 마지막 기도를 저와 함께 올리셨습니다. 그리고 엄마 고마워요, 엄마 잘 부탁해. 아버님께서는 힘겨워하시면서도 너무 미안하고 정말 고맙다고 연이어 말씀하셨습니다. 저는 아버님의 손을 더욱 굳게 잡으며 다정한 말과 눈빛으로 안심시켜드렸지요. 아무 걱정하지 마세요. 아버님께서는 그렇게 하늘 부모님 품에 안기셨습니다. 그리고 천성산 본향원에 잠드셨습니다. 아버님 성화 후 새벽이면 저는 본향원에 올랐습니다. 가을이 되면 폭풍이 몰아치고 겨울이 되면 한방눈이 쏟아져 쉬어야 할 이유와 핑계는 참으로 많았지만 어김없이 새벽이면 본향원에 올랐습니다. 성화 후 40일 동안 아침 저녁으로 상식을 올렸고 아버님이 그리울 때면 수없이 본향원을 오르내리며 아버님과 많은 이야기를 나누었지요. 그렇게 해서 아버님의 생각이 제 생각이 되었고 제 생각이 아버님의 생각이 되었습니다. 햇볕이 따스한 날, 바람이 부는 날, 갑작스레 천둥 번개가 치고 장대비가 쏟아지는 날, 한방눈이 하늘을 새하얗게 덮던 날, 그럼에도 저는 아버님 성화 후 1095일 동안 한 번도 심요를 거르지 않았습니다. 그리고 1970년대 아버님께서 걸으셨던 미국 라스베가스에서 뉴욕까지 5,600km를 횡단했고 아버님과 함께 올랐던 알프스 산맥의 12봉우리에 올랐습니다. 그리고 당신과 약속했던 초창기 교회로 돌아가 신령과 진리로 교회를 부흥시키겠다고 다짐했습니다. 성화 3주년, 저는 이제 아버님께서는 그동안 외로우셨던 하늘 부모님을 위로해드리시고 성령의 대상으로 자유로워지시기를 간구했습니다. 그리고 아버님을 위해, 하늘 부모님을 위해 2020년까지 7개국 국가복귀를 승리할 것을 결의했습니다. 동에서 서로, 남에서 북으로 저는 쉴 새 없이 세상을 품으로 다녔습니다. 입안이 헐고 다리가 붓고 서 있을 수조차 없는 어려움이 있었지만 저는 쉴 수가 없었습니다. 아버님과의 약속, 아무리 뜻이 힘들어도 내 대해서 끝을 보겠다는 그 약속을 지키기 위해서였습니다. 기필코 제가 이루어드리겠다. 그것을 위해서 저는 변하지 않을 것이다 라며 수없이 다짐하며 살아왔습니다. 당신이 사무치게 그리울 때면 달을 벗삼아 대화하며 아버님의 성체를 앞에 두고 제가 했던 약속, 생이 다하는 날까지 천일국을 이 땅에 정착시키겠다는 그 결의를 되뇌이며 살아왔습니다. 그렇게 살다 보니 아버님 벌써 성화 7주년이 되었습니다. 아버님은 아시죠? 아버님 성화 이후에는 참으로 형언할 수 없어 나만 나의 다른 입장이었습니다. 황막한 사막에 모래 태풍이 불어오는데 눈을 뜰 수 없는 환경에서 작은 바늘 하나를 찾아야만 하는 심정이었습니다. 하지만 아버님, 저는 찾았습니다. 찾아야만 했습니다. 2020년까지 7개국을 반드시 복귀하겠다는 저의 결의는 모든 축복 가정을 신종종 메시아로서 천보에 입적케 하겠다는 저의 결의는 아버님을 위한 제 선물입니다. 이 선물이 하늘 부모님에 대한 당신의 효정의 삶이 온 누리의 희망의 빛이 되기를 기도합니다. 아버님 사랑합니다. 아버님 사랑합니다. 사랑합니다.
Thank you for sharing this beautiful video. Today, we are here together. Actually, I'm very privileged to present such an important lecture about True Mother and True Father. Actually, to talk about true parents, it's not easy for me because I mean, for me, the reason why I devoted all my life is because of our true parents, and but I know that the more I study about true parents' life course, I can see that still there are so much what do you say, immaturity in my heart. I can grasp only little. I need to really explore more and then expand my knowledge about them. But tonight I prepared something I want to share with you, and this is some related to my experience. Already my wife shared with you some important points. They're more what do you say, precise points that we need to know, because that what true parents have accomplished, we need to know, and what is their mission also we need to know exactly. Otherwise, we get confused on the course. So I'm going to share a PowerPoint now. So I'm very happy to meet you, first of all, and I hope that one time we can see, face to face, not just by Zoom, because it's kind of difficult to share completely. But I'm very happy to be here. Yes, my presentation, as I put it down, is I mentioned like growing along with true parents, because I feel like what my wife had explained. True parents' mission, they are the first true parents, but actually true parents came so that we can learn and inherit from true parents our position as a true man and true women, as a true couples, true family. So I still feel I'm growing along with true parents and resembling day by day our true father and true mother, along with my wife and my family. So as we learn from Father's course, we know that Father, he gave everything. I mean, it was just amazing. Every time we study about Father, he gave everything, every ounce of his energy to find true mother first. He needed to find true mother, the begotten daughter of God. And probably, you have studied already several times. Father went to prison and he was tortured, he was beaten, he was mocked, he was, to the point where Satan himself was telling him, are you really the Messiah? If you want to continue this mission, you're going to die. And, when I think about 5 times, I went through difficulties in my life, but, let's say we overcame. But, Father was really continuously, every time he's tried to attempt, to do something important, he was put into prison, and people actually wanted him to die, especially Satan. So Satan was right there. And it was much more easy for Father if he was thinking just of himself to give up his life and that will be over. But he always wanted to, we say, resurrect. So he was put to death, and then he was coming back again. He was right away to the point of testify about his mission, about God's desire, about the kingdom of God. And he continued that way. And this is some words from Father, how he managed, how he continued under those extreme conditions. He said, time and again, I have persevered when even death seemed certain. The only reason I did not lose courage in such circumstances was that I had a deep communication of heart with God. God always softly whispered his advice to me. He was the motivation for my life. He was life itself. I feel this, when I hear about these words, and I connect artistically to Father when I'm in difficult moments in my life, when I'm going through, extreme difficulties. This is the way I can revive myself. I connect to that kind of heart, to that kind of connection with true Father, and I connect to the heart of God. So Father really has been my inspiration. And Father, after finding true mother, it's not that, we know Father was blessed at that time, the holy wedding. He didn't stop there, but he continued paying indemnity more and more in order to free the entire humankind. He knew that establishing true parents was only the beginning. So he established completely unity with God's heart, and he could overcome all the trials. You know that Father in 1984, in July, Father went to prison. Actually, he was already 84, at that time, sorry, 64 years old. He was not young. He was my age. I mean, I'm still 62, but, and he was put into prison after all what he had done for humankind. And on top of that, there was the helicopter crash. Father could have said, it's time, it's enough. But Father continued. And finally, he made the conditions for the foundation day to be declared, as you could hear from my wife. So he passed that victory completely to true mother. And he made all the conditions for the safe settlement of Chonilguk. That's why mother can declare at this time, that the kingdom of heaven can be established by 2027. So this is really the foundation, the amazing foundation that Father could leave towards our true mother. So when we talk about the holy wedding, my wife was mentioning about some important points, aspect of true mother. I want to talk about some points that Father mentioned about true mother, because sometimes we don't know what Father felt towards true mother. But if we read, Father left volumes of speeches. It's good if you find some time to go through in your meditation, during your prayers, before you pray. Actually, you can read. It's very beautiful. I spent many years actually, because I was working on the 120 days as the director of 120 days workshop. So I had a chance to study Father's words. And these are some words that I took from Father's words himself about a mother's nature. So Father say, spiritually, true mother, spiritually sensitive and sharp, has a sharp sense of intuition. She was absolute regarding true Father. She had an unbelievable patience. She accurately reads true Father's mind and led a life of preparation which was beyond expectations. And finally appeared in history as the person equipped with a unified logic of true love, with God as the root. And she trained to closely observe all of her surroundings. You can see mother is always, preparing herself. She's always attentive, and Father say, her face looks gentle, but her hands are thick, indicating audacity. She stands firm when it comes to the principle, and it's lows. And also, she always, she's looking to, to give. She's always ready to give clothes to people. She sent full boxes of clothes to each nation's missionary. She even gave her engagement ring and wedding ring to others. I remember a certain experience in Asia. We were traveling at that time during mother's tour, and she gave her scarf. She gave her another ring also to the mother, to the wife of Eknath Dakal, the Nepali national leader. And she finds joy by, giving everything to others. And she say, all my possessions belong to God and the universe. So this is the character of our true mother. And also there is another important thing that mother, mentioned. I think some of you were in Albania when mother came. She had a very strong, resolution right after the holy wedding. She say, I must finish restoration through indemnity in my lifetime. Imagine, she was just a young girl, but she had that kind of a spirit. And then she said, I must liberate God at all costs. And I will give birth to 12 children. I understood all these things before meeting True Father. Sometimes we kind of surprised, how mother go through all these kind of trials and difficulties, even without our True Father side by side with her, because she really cultivated this kind of a spirit. She's not just the weak women, that is missing father, so she will not move forward, but she really embodied that kind of the feminine heart, the passionate love of God, the feminine heart of God. So through mother, actually, in order to go through her course, as my wife mentioned, she needed to go through a lot of suffering. Sometimes we don't understand, but I had a chance to go to Chompadong. I had a chance to go through different places we call the holy tour, holy places tour in Korea. And I really want to suggest you really find a way. You're still young, you still have energy to make money, to make your own ticket. Don't worry, just do fundraising by yourself. That's how I did it. I always was financially independent, and I made my own decisions to go to this place or workshops. And so True Mother, actually, right after the holy wedding, she went through a very difficult course. She needed to give birth to 12 children, remember, but actually she delivered 14 children. And during the 7-year course, we don't have time to talk about, during this time that was given to us, but she delivered 6 children. And you can calculate, right? What is usually it takes 9 months for the baby to be born. She had no break. And she knew that she needed to hurry up. One of the baby was aging him. She went to the spiritual world only after a few days. She passed into the spiritual world. So mother was exhausted. It was very difficult. And she couldn't go to the hospital actually because father asked her to deliver the babies in Chompadong, in this room. It was very, very simple place. If you go there, you can feel kind of a mixture of feelings. As soon as I went to Chompadong in my first experience in Korea, I couldn't stop my tears. I just felt so much, fathers shedding tears there for us, and then trying to protect really through mother, protecting the true children, and mother herself, shedding tears to be victorious, desperate really to make it happen. So actually, after True Mother delivered the baby girl Ejinim, and the baby passed into the spiritual, mother needed to go to a temple, Buddhist temple, to recuperate. That time was very, very, very difficult for True Mother. Her body was exhausted. And father, actually, he was there. I put this picture, actually, I couldn't find a picture of the temple. I don't believe there is any picture. But father was carrying, according to, we went there in a tour again. We visit this temple. And according to the testimony, father was carrying True Mother in his shoulder and trying to revive mother. He was bringing her into the this forest, pine tree forest, very beautiful place. And mother, resurrected through the members' prayer and father's love to her, at least the time the father could be there. I don't think he could stay that long, but mother revived. And another, I wanted to share also some more points that Father mentioned about true mother. Maybe you can read along with me. You know, this is from Father himself. He say, when I look at her, a true mother, I'm gazing at eternity. Isn't she beautiful? Look how beautiful is true mother. She is my God-given wife for eternity. I must be the total master of my activities. Yet, I find myself somehow spellbound by her. I always want to tag along with her when she goes somewhere. You know, sometimes Father was kind of behaving like a child, you know, like childish when he was around Mother. You remember that? And Father say, I love her beyond all the things I must do in the future or the present. My love for her transcends everything else. This is what I learned from father and mother relationship. You know, my relationship with my wife, I learned from true father and true mother. You know, this kind of appreciation. You know, if I just an Italian man or an European man or just a man, you know, maybe I will have behaved totally different. But I really learned. I changed a lot because of father, you know, how much he loved true mother. But again, you know, true mother needed to do by herself, like my wife mentioned. Father couldn't be there always. And mother need to really represent and resurrect the love of God's feminine heart. So mother went through a lot of tears in her course. I just want to share few points. There is no much time again, but just some experience connected to me or to me and my wife. So when True Mother actually she came and visited in her speaking tour in the Middle East, she visited Turkey in 2006, in Jordan, Lebanon, and Israel. And it was not easy because the foundation was very, you know, small. And even though people came, you know, like 500 guests came, they didn't know what to expect. And Mara
I believe we're having technical difficulties. So this is one of those nightmare scenarios where I thread being MC. All right, Uncle Umberto.
Yes, I'm here.
We lost you for a second.
Okay. I'm here. Are you here?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. So could you hear about the mother was touring the Middle East?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So mother in 2006 she was touring the Middle East, and you know, there were the foundation was very small at that time, and actually, you know, people couldn't prepare the guests to really receive her as we did in Albania or in Europe, you know, other part of Europe. But yeah, when she spoke, actually people walk out of the room, you know, and mother after the event she was crying, and she was very sorry actually that people couldn't understand her heart, couldn't understand the purpose of her coming. You know, she imagined she is supposed to speak about God's providence and to help to liberate the Middle East, but people just walk out. They couldn't take it. But she didn't give up. And she worked through, you know, her course. And finally in 2011, you know, True Parents came back. Another speaking tour just before Father went to the spiritual world. And that time was totally different. Father was happy, mother was happy. They spent time with the VIPs afterwards, and it was very, very, very special. And but another aspect I want to mention is how, you know, sometimes we see mother in you know, in the stage, or you know, she's there far away from us. We don't understand what she's going through. Suddenly she appeared, we bow to her, we clap, she speak, and then we go home, right? But what is, through these tours, this kind of speaking tours, this kind of involvement in the providence, she need to really invest so much. And I was there in Albania, actually, when we were at the welcoming party. And as soon as she landed, she started to talk about her health and was not okay. And she say, my health is not good. She took 3 injections in her eyes. And I started to cry. I felt so sorry for True Mother. And she say, actually, the doctor told me I shouldn't have gone and I shouldn't have come here. But why she came? Why she came to Europe? Because she loved us and she wanted to really help us. She wanted to help to create a heavenly Albania, heavenly Europe. Brothers and sisters, imagine how precious, I realized that in my heart. So all these moments that I spend with Mother, being close, traveling sometimes, I felt, wow, this is what True Mother is going through. And even this recently, Mother had a double knee operation, right? This is in order to continue her mission for the firm establishment of Chonilguk. I want to read also Mother's determination. This was her words in 2015. You just saw the video. And she, at that time, she was talking to us. And she said, what do you want to say to True Father? And she said, I want to say to him, Father, from now on, please do not worry. We will fulfill our responsibility at all costs. Therefore, we hope and pray that you will now be free to go and come as you please, and to comfort God, our Heavenly Parent, who has been lonely until now in the eternal garden of the original homeland. So Mother was telling God, was telling Father to go to God and then please be with Heavenly Parent. Comfort the heart of Heavenly Parent. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about us. So this is the spirit of our beloved True Mother. I just want to share a couple personal experience with the True Father and True Mother. One is with True Father this was in Alaska. I had a chance to go to a 40 days workshop, leadership workshop. I don't know if you can see here in front of this, in the little stream is the river and in front is the ocean. Basically, there is one moment, the nighttime, the two waters, they get together and the tide, start to be higher and higher. There is one person fishing on the left. That's not me, but I was on the right side. And I was struggling deeply in my life of faith because, we came out from Afghanistan because of the Taliban came, and when I was working in India, there was a lot of misunderstandings. And so we started this 40 days condition and we needed to catch fish, but I couldn't catch for 21 days. My heart was really...
5 more minutes.
Thank you. So, I was struggling and I really didn't know what to do, but I determined, to break through. And I say, if I don't break through in my heart, I'm ready to go, to offer my life in the ocean. And so anyway, finally I could break through. And I caught 2 salmons, one for Afghanistan and one for India. And then later, during the Hunduke, actually, we're there sitting, and Father was, at one point, he was going to leave, and he asked us to stand up. And he came to me. Suddenly, he came to me, and he hugged me without no reason. And I hugged him back, and I felt really, Father understood my heart, what I was going through, and my heart was completely liberated. So I just want to mention, really, Father is always, true parents always, they are concerned about us. They can read your heart. Even at this moment, they know exactly what you are requesting him, what you are asking spiritually from him. And another experience I want to share is when I received my new mission to the Middle East. from True Mother in 2015. And suddenly, you know, I was called to, you know, to this meeting with True Mother, and I need to, you know, to present myself. So the only thing I could do is to bow to her and to tell her, Mother, I'm ready to give my life to restore the Middle East. And I will determine to bring back to the original spirit of our church in the Middle East. And I just sang a song, Santa Lucia. And from that moment, she kept calling me Santa Lucia, actually. So that was my new name, you know, Angelucci, actually. At one point, she called me Angelucci. So that was cute. But one thing I want to share is that, you know, since I didn't know a True Mother. I knew Father in some ways, but I had no personal relationship with Mother. And I started to pray deeply in my heart. I need to know. People were struggling with True Mother at that time, and I needed to answer them and say, how can I answer if I don't know who is True Mother? So I need to experience True Mother. And I was desperately praying to God, please help me to understand, you know, who she is. And always Mother encouraged me. Every time I met her, you know, in different stages, different moments, she always encouraged me. And she told me, you know, I was sitting side by side with her, and she say, the first thing she told me, she say, everyone should know that the begotten daughter is here on the earth and true parents are on the earth. Everybody in the Middle East should know. And also she say in the Quran, it's going to be written about True Mother. Later on, I found out from Sarah, our Sarah Ahmed, that in the Quran actually is talking about the begotten daughter. So there is something is connected. I don't have time to share about that, but we're going to share more in the future for sure. But True Mother knew the situation in the Middle East and always expressed her support. She several times, you know, just gave me some donation, you know, actually big donation for the mission. And she said, whenever you need anything, please ask. But I say, how can I ask? You know, in my heart, how can I ask anything to my mother? I want to support her. This was really my true heart. And she brought us shopping, you know, this necktie that I have at this time. She selects, she said, that necktie is good for you. You know, she picked herself for me. And, you know, we did bounce together in the palace. We went, she brought us all leaders, including, you know, Jack Corley, our precious brother and leader of the East region. And she made us do bounce together with her, and she brought us to the mall in Seoul. And one final experience I want to share was in Dubai. When Mother came in Dubai in 2019, she told me, and David Fraser Harris was with me and Taj, and she said the Muslim world already has accepted True Mother. Now is the time for the Jewish people to accept true parents. And that time, you know, I really felt in my heart, what can I do to support her? She was going to go to Saint Tome and Principe. She was very tired. And I decided, you know, we were sleeping, you know, in the same room with our brothers. I said, can we sing a song for her? And we decided, you know, in the morning we're going to sing a song. And I asked Wonju McDavid, and Wonju McDavid say, please ask Mother directly. And I say, Omonim, I really wish to sing a song for you. I said, please go ahead. So we sang, and it was very beautiful. She was very moved, and everybody was singing, you know, along with her. And finally, you know, as you can see in this picture, before she left, she said, I want you to sit in front of me. Can you see in this picture, we're sitting in, you know, face to face. And somehow I felt it was really something very special that I realized, you know, Mother was trying to teach me something important. I should always remember who True Mother is. And I need to confess, actually, I'm so limited in understanding True Mother. I'm still acting like a baby. They want a true mother to solve my problems, one true mother to explain to me everything. But actually, I just need to take responsibility. I just need to love her, as my mother. That's all. I don't need to think she's the begotten daughter, she's the Messiah's wife, I need to take care of her. At that time, she gave, her own meal to us. She said, you can eat from my own plate, my own spoon. She fed us, directly. How precious this moment. So true father and true mother went through incredible sacrificial indemnity for us, for me, for myself, for you. And we need to feel this in our hearts. True mother standing in the position of true parents along with true father. She's completely one with heavenly parent and true father. True mother's position is to restore the feminine aspect of God, actually. And she's doing that. It was lost from Eve, and now she's doing all by herself. So we need, to respond to true father, true mother. It's our time to respond to true father and true mother by becoming loyal sons and daughters, ready to go through any kind of difficulties. I realize in my heart, it doesn't matter anymore now. Middle East, North Korea, Sudan, anywhere. I just want to go. I just want to love our true parents and resemble them. So let's really, brothers and sisters, I know that you're preparing through this workshop, to prepare yourself to go anywhere. This is the best way to prepare, just to pray and connect to the heart of our true parents. And we can really help true mother in the final precious moment of her life on the earth. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. God bless you. And I love you. We love you.
He has sought to go beyond race, religion, ethnicity, gender, and culture. He is perhaps the most misunderstood, misrepresented, maltreated, and maligned person on the face of the earth. But that only is the stuff that makes him love all the more. He loves his enemies. He lives for the sake of others. And no cost is too great in order to bring back the family of God. He has committed his life to restoring us to God's true love, God's true life, and true lineage, so that we look upon each other as brothers and sisters, one family under God. parents of all humanity.
I think we are ready to start. So thank you so much for introducing True Mother's role so clearly. I just wanted to ask this question to clarify. Wasn't True Father to come as the Messiah and True Mother in the position of the Holy Spirit? Of course, the Messiah needed to find his bride to fulfill his mission, but does that mean that, sorry, I had to scroll there. But does that mean the same as True Mother being the Messiah herself? And could you please explain that the role of the Holy Spirit is? What the role of the Holy Spirit is? Long question.
Yeah, I think that we need to really understand what is the Messiah. You know, the Messiah is the Adam and Eve. The Messiah is not Adam. The Messiah is Adam and Eve restoring the true parents. This is why we're different. You see, we are not Christian. We do not have a Christian theology that believes that the Messiah is only a male. The Messiah is a man and a woman, true parents. So Jesus could not have a bride, so he had the Holy Spirit. So Mother Spirit is the Holy Spirit. You know, Mother is there as the Holy Spirit. Her, as we've talked about, characteristics of the feminine aspect of God or the feminine Messiah is a more Holy Spirit kind of thing. Creating the atmosphere, creating an atmosphere, nourishing, embracing, loving. This is the feminine aspect of God. So in order to represent God, you must be male and female. And so Father is the Messiah, Mother is the Messiah. They are not the Messiah separately, they are the Messiah together. So I hope that answers your question.
I think so. So we'll jump right into the next question. What does the foundation of 3 generations of only one daughter mean? Why is this a preparation for the role of True Mother?
Yeah, good question. I think what it means is women taking responsibility alone, based on their relationship with God, not based on having a huge family foundation of men and uncles and aunties and everyone helping, but women alone, developing their relationship and their faith in God alone, successfully, you know. So grandmother went and she searched everywhere for the Messiah, and then, or great grandmother, and then grandmother Han also did that without the support of her husband, without the support of other people, you know. So these three generations were women who established a very strong relationship with God, and yeah, became totally faithful to God, unlike Eve. You see, they had to restore that kind of heart towards God that Eve did not have. So that happened for 3 generations, which is much better than 1 generation, right? So, you know, grandmother, mother, and then, or great grandmother, grandmother, and then our true mother. That's my understanding.
Thank you. I'll jump right. This is another long one we have for you. So to Uncle Umberto, I heard this from my national leader after father's passing. When the father found out about how badly the family party had done in the elections due to an insufficient foundation in tribal messiahship, he was completely shocked. After that, he stopped doing his daily exercise in the morning. Hence, his health deteriorated, and in the following months, and eventually he caught the cold that led to his passing. Apparently, father had made this sacrifice in order to make up for the lacking foundation in tribal messiahship, so that the foundation day could be ushered in successfully. Have you heard this? Is this official knowledge? That might be the record longest question we'll ever have on a Zoom workshop.
Yeah, personally, I didn't hear that, but when I reflected about this question, I think we need to understand that, you know, in father's heart, there were many things. You know, father was several times betrayed, and even to the point of, you know, his own children had difficulties with him. And so, you know, there are certain things that could have caused his health to be deteriorated for sure. And you remember father used to say that in his lungs, the doctors found, you know, a lot of poison from during his time in prison. You know, his lungs had been affected. There are many things that affected father's life. He was supposed to even to stay longer with us. But I can't say that was only the motivation. I mean, there are many things that we were supposed to do, you know, and we didn't do. But, you know, I think we need to be a little bit more, yeah, sometimes we focus on maybe father's life could have been longer, but I feel personally, I remember personally when father was in the hospital, we were in Nepal. And at that time I had told God, I say, you know, I want to give my life for father to live long. And I didn't die, you know, even though I wanted to give my life, that was not my time. God didn't need my life. And father went to the spiritual world. So it's not, you know, God's will is a bit different than what we think. You know, actually we were doing very strong conditions. I remember when Hunjini went to the spiritual world also, we were crying in Varese in Italy, and we are doing very strong Chongsong condition for him not to pass into the spiritual world. But then he went. So yeah, I wouldn't say officially that was the reason, but you know, there are many things, you know, that affected father's life. And for me, what I consider now is how can we support mother in the best of our capacity, so she doesn't need to limitate her life here on the earth with us, you know. Yeah. Thank you for that question.
Yeah, so a very profound, long question. So the next question will be, it's not there. Isn't the only begotten daughter making true mother's title very exclusive? Couldn't it be more like the first or unique begotten daughter? Should we all become sons and daughters of God?
Yeah, we should. That's right. She's the only for a time period. I'm sorry, I didn't ask Mother why they chose that translation. And, maybe we can write her a letter and suggest that she changes it, if you feel so strongly about it. But also you have to understand that what she says in Korean is not what we translated to English. This is why we really all have to learn Korean. And maybe this is something we could discuss maybe there's some Korean speakers here that can help us to understand, but definitely this is a Christian Western concept of what Mother is saying. I really don't know what the real translation is, but it's definitely something that has been decided based on referring to her as the Messiah. So,
but also, there are many terminologies that, for example, if you think about begotten daughter, or we compare to begotten son, right? So it's a little bit confusing because we have certain theological understanding from the past. So I need to be careful how we take it and try to understand what God is trying to tell us, because if you think about true parents are asking us to become, tribal Messiah, right? And to resemble true parents means we need to become, like same as true parents and become true parents in our own family. So there is really, we don't need to get stuck in the theological point that we may not understand, like my wife say, what is really true parents are trying to tell us, what is God is trying to tell us, I think that's more important.
Thank you. How was accepting such a big position as Middle East leaders? What suggestions would you give to us second generation for taking more responsibilities in our communities and accepting the call? Forza Italia.
Okay, I need to tell you something because you're very bright and very special people. I'm very impressed by you, first of all. But it's the way that God works is very mysterious. He already knows what you want. You know that? He already knows. You already told him everything. So don't be surprised. That's my experience. Actually, I was visiting my son in America. We were living in the Philippines at that time, and I couldn't attend the blessing of my first son. So I say, this time I will not miss it. I'll be with him. I'll be with my son. I need to prove that I'm a good father. So I went to America. Suddenly, I opened this machine that you know very well, right? Kakao Talk. Umberto, come to Korea tonight. Mother want to talk to you. That was my calling. I say he's kidding me, he's trying to tease me. And so I called, he didn't answer. And I said, what's going on? This must be something strange, And then what's happened, he called me back and he said, actually, you need to come. Mother need to talk to you. We have a meeting now. And so I said, what to do, I'm here with my son and his wife. They need to attend the blessing. So I gathered them and I started to cry. I say, you know, listen, I cannot do this by myself. True Mother is calling me and I need your support. If you accept, I will go. If not, I will not go. And, you know, with tears, we hug each other. And then, you know, I say, okay, you know, they say to me, please go, you know. And so what I mean is that I didn't have, still, I didn't figure out everything. I really have so much to learn. And we are learning together with my wife. So don't worry. You're not going to be perfect to do whatever you need to do, but just really keep cultivating, you know, your relationship with God and true parents. That's the most important thing that I want to mention to you. Thank you.
If I can just say something, I think it's really important to decide whether you want to live a public life or not. You know, and decide, you know, because my husband decided a long time ago that, or we decided that we're going to live a public life. So whatever Mother says, we will do it. Even now, we're preparing to go to North Korea. So, you know, but you need to decide whether you want to live a public life or not, whether it's valuable for you, if you think it's worth it. And then, you know, once you decide that, then whatever comes to you is very exciting because you can be sure it's what God wants you to do. You can know that this is something that God's bringing your way to help you develop, to help you grow, and to give you exciting experiences. But you have to want it. If it's a burden, don't do it. If you feel, oh, I'm doing this because I feel guilty, or I should do something because my parents want me to do it, or because it's the right thing to do, no. Do it because you're excited to do a public mission. And then whichever public mission you're asked, you have to say yes. Because you never know, God is trying to bring you somewhere and teach you something. And if you don't say yes, then you'll never be able to experience that.
Yeah, don't forget that there will be a lot of struggles. We seems like sometimes, you see us always smiling, but we had our course of tears. So, and don't be surprised, it's okay. Struggle is okay. You will see. Some people say, if I go through this, then I need to struggle. Well, it's okay. I mean, we struggle in life anyway. Even to study, we struggle, right? So, but at least, we get something that you will feel forever grateful in your heart.